Hello, 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 hello. I hope everyone's having a fantastic morning. How's everyone doing? Hope you're all doing good. So, stopping the music so I can focus for more than 2 seconds. Today, we're just gonna go ahead and work a bit on the farm from quite some time ago. Haven't goofed around with that in a pretty long time, honestly. Last stream, we finished up all the work we're doing on those towers, right? So there's just the one left. It's got the glass walls, all that. All great and all. However, there is still things that need to just be done in general around this. Like, before I work on the arena, I'm trying to finish off some older projects on the world. And one of those is this, the farm. We never got it quite done, but I'm thinking the idea is going to be to go ahead and make this. Originally, I was going to have it be like multiple floors that you could access and all that. It's going to be kind of silly. But what I'm thinking of is having it all be like underneath the terrain, and like the terrain kind of comes over it, and so it's almost like Hobbit hole like is the idea. So we're gonna try and make that work out as best we can. This whole thing is kind of a mess. I haven't touched it in so long. I know that sheep have access to getting in here and causing trouble. So, yeah. We're gonna go ahead, work on this a fair bit, and just see how much we can get done today. Oh, my glass understack broke. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay. I don't know how far back I want this to go. It's not going to be like a perfect sphere or anything. I guess I can just repeat this going back one more to keep it kind of lined up. I think that'll work. So the current idea, let's see, this is 8, so we'll go back another 8. And there's a bit of stuff that's already like built over by the looks of it, which should help. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this will all be dirt. I'll have to have a way to keep it like lit up, which is a slight concern. We'll see. I don't exactly know how the farming mechanics work in this version. I don't know if it needs skylight or how all this functions, but we'll see. We shall see. But yeah, the current plan is to just go ahead and kind of build over the farm. Just have a bunch of dirt and whatnot, so that it's blending into the terrain a bit. Maybe I can put something on top of it to signify that this is where the farm is. Build like a giant wheat or something. I don't know. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then this just has the water in between. Good. Place that. Bring this all the way over yonder. Okay. Try and stop it from mass evaporating. Good. Yeah, I don't think most things should be able to get in here. They might spawn in and cause trouble, maybe. But it should be fine. Okay. Good. I'm going to need to go ahead and grab more things back at base. Just to go ahead and work on this, but that's fine. We can use what we've got in our inventory first. Keep it somewhat cleaned out. And I'll need to go ahead and put stuff down here as well. Okay. Forgive the low energy like yesterday, it's just kind of a calm, I felt like playing my world thing. Don't have crazy streamer entertainment energy today. We're just vibing, relaxing. Okay. Gotta stream this a metric ton to make up for the nearly 1 year of breaks. Okay. That's good. And need dirt here. That's both dirt. Good. I'll need to go grab the water source block as well. But yeah, that comes out to where that needs to be. And then it gets, what, 3 more before it hits the edge? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and then there's that. Okay. Should probably put a couple of torches down in here to avoid getting ganged up on. Okay. Like that. Okay. How am I gonna light up the inside of this? That's not something I thought of. I guess the strat would be doing that. And then just have like 3 things of space in between each one. And putting a torch on each of them. Which will mean that it's like off-center, but that's fine. That's not a huge deal. Okay. This is one of those instances where it's actually nice having there be a whole bunch of space that's already dug. Yeah, that just comes around like normal. Okay. Yeah, this is just one of the things on the list of old projects I never did get done. It's been here for I don't know how long. I think I started making this as soon as we got to 223, maybe? I think 223 is when we got wheat. Let me check. It's whatever version we got wheat in, that's when I started working on this. Okay, not 223, 206. 223 just changed the bread recipe. Fair enough. Alright. It's good. Come over here. It's probably all going to evaporate, that's fine. I don't really care about that water right there. I'm just going to have to bring in some source blocks. Okay. Good, 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 good. Okay, hello sheep. Cause yeah, then we just go ahead, bring this all the way over here. And I guess we have to break one above this, just for it to work. I'm not sure, like, what height I'm gonna want this at. I guess it might be smart just to break all of this level. Give it a little bit of room to work with. Unsure how actually useful that'll be, but we'll see, we'll see. Yeah, then we can put a torch down there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello there, Wyvern. Glad to see ya. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing? We're just messing around, working on a farm today. Just an old project that I never got done. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Okay. The current idea is that we're going to have this farm just go into the terrain and then build the terrain back over it, so it's almost like a hobbit hole of sorts. That's the current plan. I had already kind of like dug out some area for it, I think. I don't remember if this was mostly what the terrain was like. Whatever the plan was. Are those the debug overstacked tools? So these are... I got these just from understacking the tools and then saving and reloading. Because if you get an understack of, I want to say, negative 129, when you save the game, it rolls back over to 127. Gonna clean up my inventory right quick. The entire world is pelted with torches. Yeah, just does a little bit of an underflow. And then I have a little plugin that Solo made so that I can see the negative stacks. Makes life just a little bit more convenient. Alright. Yeah. I don't know if I've seen you in chat before. I know I've seen like a couple of your videos on MCDF. But welcome. Glad to have you here. Okay. This can go up here. Is this an updating world, or do I stay in one version? So this is intended as an updating world. That is the point of the world, is that I'm slowly updating it. Practically speaking, I'm currently kind of in dev like purgatory, for the reasoning of I want this entire world to have stuff in it before updating to InfDev, right? Like, I want there to be stuff wherever you go in this world to see. Now, practically, I know that we're kind of moving at a snail's pace for that, but one of my close friends is slowly but surely working on a multiplayer mod. And so once that happens, where's this? Oh, this is stone. Once that happens, that'll be achieved a lot quicker, right? The whole reason I, like, commissioned the save mod for early InfDev and early InDev was because of this world. Like, I wanted to be able to hit every single version that we have, so... It's kind of part of that, Where did I put the mossy cobble? Here it is. Inventory should be clean enough. I want to keep the logs. Okay. Go ahead, grab ourselves some more slabs. Got plenty of dirt around. But yeah, so it's supposed to be an updating world, we just haven't updated in a long time. Long time. Okay, and let's go ahead and grab some water source blocks. So we're gonna need that for the farm as well. Those are the liquids. These are the sources. Okay. Grab like half of that. Okay. Water is bloody cursed in InDev. Hold up. So, one of the projects that I started before I was like, okay, I need to start working on some old things that I had begun and just never finished. One of the projects I did is this arena on this side, right? Work in progress. We've gotten, like, the wall of the first layer done, but we haven't done the inside. Just generated the island and went to InfDev. InDev is very nice. It's like a very calming, kind of just contained experience. It feels like, as a person that, like, started with Legacy Console Edition, it kind of gives me some nostalgia for that. Just the limited world, and just doing what you can within it. But this is a project that we've started, the arena, and one of the things I was doing was connecting, you know, the pathway here to the pathway there with a big old bridge. The problem, when I was working on said bridge, also, did I? No, I didn't. It's fine. Yeah, that's good. While I was working on the bridge, a couple of blocks of water got replaced with air. And because of that, because a couple of blocks of water got replaced with air, the entire top layer of water evaporated. The whole top layer. So the water was one block lower, and I had to go ahead and get that to fill back up, and because of water physics, it was jank as hell. I don't know what Notch was smoking, but I want some of it. Whatever it may be. Boat. Boat. I would offer to give a tour. I am sleepy as all hell. This is more of just a relaxed before work short stream. I'll probably go for like one more hour and then call it for the day. Do liquids still expand to fill the available space pretty much? So it's not like classic where, you know, you put down, say, one water source block and then everything at that entire Y level is now water, right? It's kind of like that, but there's some level of, like, evaporation jank that kind of holds it back, but then it also makes it have a hard time spreading sometimes inconsistently. It's bloody weird. I would kill to see some documentation on exactly how the water physics work, because, oh boy, are they physics. Okay. Oops. Oops. Let me get the one back because it hates me. Hates me. There's a part of me that wants to, like, look into the code and try to figure out how it works, but I feel like that'll just give me even more questions than answers. I don't know if I'm ready to experience the Notch water physics code. I don't know if I have the strength, but if I have it in me. I don't need any more migraines than I've already got. Okay, so let's go ahead and break that. Good. Got that from the debug chest. Love to see it. So what version of Solo could probably figure it out? I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy, but yes, if there was someone that probably could, it'd be Solo. I could also ask Lego. Lego's pretty good about that sort of thing, but this is notch code we're up against. No, I'm sure some people smarter than me could figure it out with these. It just looks horrifying because in-game it is horrifying. That's the current experience. Okay. Put a wiki page up for old Minecraft water physics. It's what we need. Everything could be solved if that was available as a page. I mean, it'd be cool to understand how it works, assuming it's not just absurdly goofy. I'm sure there's supposed to be some rhyme or reason to it, but it feels so incredibly random what it does at any given point. Okay. Good. And according to the wiki, it's random. It feels random. I'm just wondering, like, what code is behind its randomness, if there's any amount. 2/3 of a chance to evaporate, 1/3 to copy. There's also, like, really weird spreading logic to it, though. Because that doesn't fully match up with, like, the gameplay of it kind of tends to flow downwards to some extent. Almost like Terraria, in a way. And then sometimes it just refuses to spread. Like, it has some logic needed to spread to the sides, I think. Like, I think there needs to be a block of something as support for the water, almost, in my experience. It's so weird. Like, it's incredibly goofy. And I also don't know how much is intended. It's like, maybe it's supposed to need support, maybe it's not, and it's just notch code being notch code. I could not tell you. Okay, what am I doing? What am I doing? Confusing myself. That's what I'm doing. Wonderful. Swell. Do that. Like, I can imagine that it's supposed to have, like, a base chance of that for either of the things, but it has some weird logic for deciding, like, how it does it, I guess? I don't know. It seems a bit more complicated than it just having a chance to do one or the other. Like, whenever I was filling back in the lake, I basically had to put support across the entire second layer of the water so that it could all actually fill in. Because otherwise what was happening, right, is it was, like, spreading out one block from the source, and then just kind of acting like there was nowhere it could go. Okay. I think like that is how I have it set up. Something along those lines. And then sometimes it just goes in without any problem, like that. Alright. Yeah, like, it feels goofy. Which, it's kind of interesting, like, I compared it to Terraria water physics, that's kind of cool. 3D version of that is fun. It's just doesn't play well. In practicality, it just doesn't really function the way it's intended, I don't think. Okay. Need to, like, get this to be even on both sides before continuing, I think. That'll make my life a little bit easier. Just a smidge, just a tad. I mean, like, the base odds at least line up of, like, if you have an air block, there's a higher chance of everything evaporating instead of it actually filling. Like, I could probably showcase what I meant by it needing support. Like, if I go ahead and fill in a tad bit of space, put that there, see if I can recreate the nonsense. You've got 2 blocks there where it can, in theory, go. I don't remember if it doesn't go on or if it only goes 1. It was something silly like that. We'll wait for it to fully become night so that we can see, but I'll try and demonstrate the silliness. Okay, yeah, this is fine. Let's go ahead, dig around here. Oh, one sec. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Still goofy nighttime. Oh, there we go. Light has updated. Okay. So, we're gonna see if it even fills into, like, the spot under the torch, or if it gets there. Okay, so that time it did. It wasn't. It wasn't when I was working on the bridge. It was, like, getting stopped. Or does it... I think I remember now. It had to do with having stuff beneath it. But also you can kind of see how it trends downwards. Like it flowed in to fill that space. I remember now. It was... I needed like a block of support for the water source. Well, no, because it then kind of worked that time. I can't begin to predict how this works. But it kind of got into a spot where it was like having air. And then it was just like a wall of it was refusing to fill, right? Which in theory, this has a 1 in 3 chance whenever it's ticking to spread. But we're gonna leave that there and it's just not going to. Like the next time we go to look at that, it's not going to have changed. I had left the lake unattended for a little while. For like 30 minutes while I was working on, I want to say, just the bridge itself. And it just hadn't spread. It's goofy. Silly. Quirky. Every word you can think of. That's what the lake was. And like, it had a bit more space to spread out as well, so maybe that affected it. I almost wonder if it's like trying to spread, or like trying to evaporate, right? Like it ticks to evaporate one time. But then it's like, well, no, we have water, so I can't, and then it just gets stuck on that, maybe? I don't know. There's some weird logic to it. Okay. I don't know exactly how I want to do this. Namely the side bits, the walls. The front and the back I'll pretty much just have copy-pasted, but the side, I don't know. Don't know. Don't know. We'll mine out a bit of this, go take a look, and by now it should have done something, right? Water spread and evaporation isn't this slow. So whenever we go back over there, you'd expect it to, you know, say, oh, I can't evaporate because of the water, because of the source block, but I probably hit the chance to spread, so I'm gonna do it. Right? Right, water source? Nope. You're gonna have your little waterfall effect. Little splashes. Not gonna do crap all. It's because you hate me. Okay. It's buggy as hell. I will not miss these water physics going forward. I want to say they change, like, as soon as InfDev, or rather, don't they have their physics removed in InfDev, and then shortly after it gets switched to new physics? If you could call them physics, it's more of, like, just the... They kind of lose physics, they just have a weird flowing mechanic. Like, this actually has the water move and evaporate in somewhat real time. I guess it's got, like, the merging mechanics, kind of. So do they just not come back at any point within InfDev? I guess it doesn't get added back until... Like, I know the sponges break because of the water changes in InfDev. Okay, it does come back, but that's at the tail end. That's, like, just short of alpha. Okay. Alright. One day we'll reach InfDev. That day is not anytime soon. I say that, like, we're actually getting some work done on the world. By this point, my new video I put out today shows the water stuff. I did see that. I saw it whenever I posted a link in the Discord. I would have gone ahead and watched it, but I was already having started stream, so we'll probably do so tonight. Oh. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. I have returned. Okay. Don't know if you're still here. What was I saying earlier? Oh yeah, I'll probably watch the video after work. Right now I'm just kind of streaming the little bit of time I've got. I'll probably go for like another 45 minutes or so. And then start to get ready. Have something to eat. Okay. Good. Grab the slabs. It's fine. Okay. Let's go ahead and kind of expand this way. And what we'll do is that same torch setup on every one of these little end bits, I think is the current plan. Right? Yeah. And here, I'm gonna do this just to make it look even, because otherwise it will drive me a little bit mad. Just a little bit. Okay. Lets me actually see where I need to put these down at. Did not mean to do that. Okay. And that's good. Keep everything lit. I'm sorry, wait. How am I interacting with the water? What? I'm not doing it on this side. Only on this. What the heck? What? Is it specifically when interacting from this direction? Water is jank. What is this? What in the world? Okay. We'll set it up to match that side, and then... Yeah, it's specifically when interacting from this side of the water with this stuff here that I'm, like, partially interacting with it. Save game. I don't remember if F5 is third person yet, or if it's rain. It's third person. Huh. Am I bumping my head on the slab? Is that keeping me down? Like, it doesn't happen on this side. Everything is jank. Indev is so goofy. So goofy, I love it. Okay. We're gonna need more slabs. I will probably just need to go ahead and grab an understack. I don't know why I haven't. Oh, well. Okay. The current plan with this world, or like the plan from the start was I wanted to go ahead and just do as much of like the discontinued features as I could, as I kept updating. I'm just kind of stuck on InDev for a while. I would not be surprised if this is the longest running, like, InDev world on YouTube or something. I don't think most people would stick around on this version for all too long, but I like it. I think it's nice. It's not something that you think about too much, but it still plays pretty much like modern Minecraft. It's just, like, I've compared it to Legacy Console, but that's really what the case is. Just filling up a limited world. I think this is the only part where you could probably say you've, like, completed a world. Different versions have various levels of playability. Oh, yeah. In-dev's a little bit odd, in that you kind of have to, like, do it in a specific way to have the best version of in-dev. And by that, I mean, like, say you want to have access to all the blocks, you need to start on a particular version. But then you don't have access to diamonds by default without doing some jank stuff to expand the world a little bit. So you gotta do like a whole setup to make it work. Late in-dev is arguably more playable than early inf-dev. Wouldn't shock me. I mean, how much like gets removed going into inf-dev? I know at a certain point you lose the water spawner and cloth blocks entirely. They just start crashing the game. Make a couple of planks. What do we look like on this side? Oh, and we were doing like a weird little wall setup. I remember now. Almost everything? Like, do crops not work and all that? I guess, like, you stop having mobs, don't you? Oh, well, yeah. That's fair. That's fair, that's very fair. I wasn't really thinking about it in that regard, just because, like, I'm gonna have the save mod. Lego's been working on that. So that'll make that be a non-issue, which will be very nice. Although I don't know if there's, like, any features I'll get out of it. See, having the save mod set up for in-dev was really cool, since you can actually get fire, water, and lava. Somewhat. You have to, like, enable survival mode on one of the versions, because then it's like... I'm trying to remember. You have to enable survival mode on one of the versions to go ahead and access the debug inventory, which has liquid water and lava, I believe. And then a later version of in-dev, a later one ends up having the... trying to remember. Iron boots, right? You get the whole inventory full of just random junk, including, like, the quiver, all that. Iron boots actually correspond to fire, so when you save, like, when you add saving to that version, the ID that is the iron boots in that will become fire when loaded in a later version. Which is pretty neat. Pretty neat. Don't have trees or ores. I guess it just kind of skips the whole decoration phase by the sounds of it. So it's mostly just like water and grass. Is that correct? Comes over to here. Crops don't grow until 325. Does part of, like, the chair exploit require that or something? No. No, you did that on a later version with saving. Never mind. It's so goofy. That whole, like, data value thing is so silly. Just light the ground on fire until it becomes a chair. Because it doesn't even have, like, its own tile. You're just giving wheat You're just giving wheat the bloody chair texture. It has no reason to work. Other than, like, Notch just putting that on there. Nearly impossible if you don't start an indev. Yeah, I think I saw you mention that in the comment, the no gravel thing. So then you have to, like, do weird tree growth stuff. I remember now. Okay. Fall in a hole. How fast are you planning on updating your world? Is it just whenever you want to go ahead and do a funny exploit on the next version, or? No gravel until 420, so you have to get lucky with saplings overshooting their data value? I should probably just understack this. I don't know why I haven't. I'm gonna need a metric ton of them. Pretty much. Fair. That was more or less what I was doing early on. You want to have at least one discontinued feature per episode? Fair. I was more or less just, like, going on after I... Fluffy! Hello! Early on, I was just updating whenever I kind of finished whatever I wanted to do in a version. And I guess that's still the case here, like... I still want to do stuff in this version, it's just... insert stuff is... build across the entire map. Which is a little bit daunting. But it's the only version I can do it in, so... Once I go to InfDev, that's just not an option anymore. I'll never have a point where I can, like, walk anywhere and say, yep, here's this thing at this spot, and be able to run out of things, right? Am I goofing that up? No. I'm just confusing myself. Like, the idea is to finish this map, and then be able to just share it as a pretty much completed InfDev world in the big 20 whatever it is by the time I'm done with it. Probably 2026. I can't imagine the multiplayer mod isn't done at some point then, and once that happens, this map will very quickly expand. This is about as big as I could get the world without it causing issues, which I think this is a good size. Basically, we did... I'm trying to think. We did one expansion putting terrain generator in InfDev is also crazy, so you just get insane mountains. That sounds fun. No, I did, like, one expansion over that way, to the mainland, whenever diamonds... No, it wasn't when diamonds got added, it's when monsters were made hostile again. I was waiting to expand the map until monsters were hostile, so that getting the diamonds would actually be a challenge. And then, in that same expansion, I did the 2 islands that are out this way. I accidentally messed up my render distance. This one looks so pretty. Like that cliff generation up at the front. Gives almost pack.png vibes. But this island, and there's one on the other side of the ship. And then the lighting bugs are so funny. Yeah. It's kind of, like, pretty, just looking off and seeing all these little dots of light. On the other side of the map is whenever LEGO finished the save mod for all the early versions of InDev. So I made worlds in 2 of those early versions to go ahead and get the water and lava and fire. And so I had put down chests over there and collected the stuff out of them. So that's all the map expansions that I'm doing. Okay. Go ahead and keep digging this way. Every single day, night. True! Jesus Christ, that sounds like a gunshot. It's over, Phantazap. I have the high ground. Have you considered walking left and right? Would recommend. Horrifying. The arrows are so loud in this. Ridiculous. Okay, we're good. We're fine. We're safe. We're not going to be done with the farm, I don't think, this stream. If I'm not scheduled for work tomorrow at an unreasonable time, I'll go ahead and do another stream this evening. They really are. Like, spiders were even scarier over in, I want to say, survival test, because you just didn't have iframes. I think iframes are added by now. But spiders were like the scariest one. You didn't have iframes, and then whenever they jump, they would get momentum, right? Like, they would launch themselves forward. They still do it, mind you, but with iframes and me having lit up the entire world, it's not as big of a problem. But spiders were horrifying. And then back in survival test, like, most of this terrain is hollow. Like, if I dig down in a lot of spots, gaping hole, gaping hole. And this is because, like, almost solely because creepers, right? Whenever they die, they explode. That's how they worked in survival test. The issue was that they'd get into fights with skeletons over and over, and just nuclear bomb your entire front lawn. Lovely experience. Okay. Oh, man. Okay. I am out of space for dirt and cobble. Messages held for review. Legalize nuclear bombs. Oh boy. You've got, Wyvern. They're stopping you. YouTube's auto mod. They're not happy. They're not happy. Okay. I'll just dump a bunch of this junk onto the ground. YouTube censoring my memes, SMH. Coughing bomb versus hydrogen baby, who wins? Okay. We'll dump the junk into the trench. Oh yeah, I had to build like this little trench around my house because the skeletons and creepers would like get up against the wall in survival tests because they could see me. Like, they'd see you through the wall, try to get you through the wall. The creeper couldn't do anything because it was melee, but the skeleton would try to shoot you, hit the creeper, piss it off, blow it up, and now you have a hole in your wall. And that repeated several times while I was building the house. The entire, like, shell of that house I built in survival test. The inside, I've done more stuff to it, but the whole shell was done then. I had to, like, grow trees for the wooden posts. It was a very fun little experience. Yeah, survival test is more or less hardcore. Like, due to the way that, especially due to the way that saving works within Betacraft, because it wouldn't be hardcore if you weren't dependent on goofy Betacraft saving. Saving upon closing the world after you die, and not being able to manually save. And that just causing a whole issue. I did die at a couple of points, and I was able to, like, bring the world back via MC Edit, right? I was able to pull some stuff to get it back in, but I would lose my inventory every time. So it kind of balanced out. in this, I can just normally save and be fine, so that's good. I don't remember if it's solely a restriction of Betacraft or how it works. I think it's something to do with, like, the online mode of that version or something. Like, I know it has manual saving functionality. It's just that Betacraft doesn't let you use it with how it's set up because of how the save fixes, I think. I have not toyed with it in a long time, but I remember something along those lines of, like, in the dev environment we were able to save or something. It was weird. It was silly. Okay. That's good. Is this side? No, we still have to do this. But, like, it did kind of play like a sort of hardcore arcade game, almost. Does that make sense? Like, it was just try and see how long you could last, more or less. Okay, this goes up to that same area. Good. When do, like, falling blocks get properly added? I wonder. Like the entity. Because right now they just kind of instantly go to the ground. Shite. Okay, do that. There we go. If I tried to drag the stack, it could get goofy. Sometime in InfoDev? Okay. Can't wait for all the lag that comes with that. I guess he probably just... That's probably why gravel and sand stopped being generated while he was working on figuring out how to work with that. That makes sense. Okay. Almost done with the... Thank you, Notch. Very cool. You're so Notch. Oh, there's a cave down there. Let's not screw with that. Stealing my water. It probably flowed downwards and I just didn't see it and thought it evaporated. He stole my water. What the heck? I hear you. Don't think I don't. Little sheep. Little sheep. Okay. Some torches down. 625. 625, I want to say, is like the one just before alpha, right? Like, it's essentially version 1 of alpha with how some of the stuff plays out. But I don't fully remember. There's, like, something weird about 625. Or am I thinking of 624? I might be thinking of 624 and it's weird saving. 630 is the last one before alpha. What version am I thinking of with the weird... Like, the really cursed saving, where it's just fully uncompressed? It's actually listed as InfoDev in-game, it's basically a re-upload of 630. That's what I'm thinking of in that regard. Of, like, the final version. Why was I thinking 625? Okay, I was right on it being 624. Okay. That's one of the versions that we're gonna get the save mod with. Not because it doesn't have saving, but because what the heck? Because you can get sign spawners? Oh, yeah. Because that's a thing. Oh, shite. Oops. I tried to press G. I think that was the button for spawning signs, wasn't it? It's in one of the survival test versions where you could spawn signs in, I believe. Or maybe just a classic version or a range of them in general. I don't know. It's been a while. Yeah, 624 saves can't be loaded going further, so we're gonna have to hit it with the save mod. Just to, like, be able to actually... Like, you can load into it fine. You can load old saves. It's just... It can only read and use 624 saves. So we're gonna have to port proper saving to it if we actually want to get the version on Wander. I know LEGO got a good bit of work done on that. We had... Right now, our big issue with, like... We were setting up the converter is... There's something with, I want to say, lighting data that just makes it eat an insane amount of memory. This issue is present on Molnea's in-dev converter as well. If we can fix that, then it won't be a problem. But otherwise, it'll be a little bit silly. A little bit silly. So I think that was like the last big issue we had with our in-dev to inf-dev converter within the mod. Once that's good to go, then I think we'll be set for the 625 release of inf-dev save. And past that, it's just porting it to everything else. Yeah, it's calculated every single time. And then I think it, for some reason, tries to calculate all of it at once upon making the converted world. Like, it tries to calculate all the chunks lighting data at once or something. And it just eats up yeah. So if we could, like, have our own means of calculating it, maybe. If we could, like, run those same calculation things, perhaps, but, like, do it in a more streamlined, clearing out data after it does, it'd be slower, maybe, but if we're not letting it eat up all the memory from doing all those conversions and keeping it all there at one time, then maybe that would work? I don't know how practical that is. The big issue is that it eats up all the memory. If we could make it do the same thing without eating all the memory, then it'd be fine. Right? No, yeah, like, that's the simple fix is just allocate more memory, but practically speaking, if someone's doing it on weaker hardware, then you'd want that to be accessible. It's more of a workaround than a fix on our end. There's gotta be, like, some way, I feel. If we could somehow hijack the light update process. You only needed 2? That's fair. I want to say when LEGO was updating Wander to that as a test. When LEGO was doing Wander to that, it was 8 gigabytes that it needed. Which can still be done. I could still do that on my computer, but it could be an issue. It's still something that would be, like, better to be fixed, even if there is a workaround. Because then if there's a workaround, you need to, like, find out what the problem is. You gotta ask about it, be like, hey, this is breaking. It saves us time, too. I somehow ran out of dirt. Run out of dirt. Wouldn't hurt to fix is what I'm getting at. I just don't know how we'd go about it. The only way I can think of is, like, somehow breaking the process up so that it's not needing all the memory at once. But I need to, like, ask LEGO how that would even function. Describes the zone file format as obscenely large. That would be because it's obscenely large. Shocking. Who would have thunk? I don't know what Notch was smoking that day, but whatever. I don't know if that was an intended change or like Powell was goofing around with the save format for whatever reason and just accidentally removed the conversion, or what was going on. Like, I don't know if he just removed the compression on accident or if it was some silly way an intended change. Yeah, it stores 32 by 32 chunks in a single file. I know it's obscenely huge, I know it doesn't have compression, I just wonder what the heck was going on in his head. That's what's got me confused. It's like, how does this happen? I have to assume he was just messing with it and forgot to put the compression back on or something. But they've also not looked at the code for it. So I couldn't say. Because on one hand, that, like, screams to me, this is not intended. Why would it be intended? But also, this is notch code. So, like, I don't know. I don't know. I need more dirt. We're running low. The supply, it's getting low, getting low. At the very least, this is major progress on the farm. This won't be done this stream, by any means. I'm going for 15 more minutes before I end and start getting ready for work, but this is certainly a start. I kind of just stopped working on this for a while because I got distracted, but if I don't have work early in the morning tomorrow, or better yet, if I don't have work tomorrow, I'm just gonna stream. Apparently the zones saved faster. Well, I assume they would save faster if you skipped the compression. The problem is that you kind of, you know, want to have space on your hard drive? Question mark? So it was intentional. Holy shit. This is just notch code. But then it just didn't save sometimes. How did he not catch the file size issue? I feel like that'd be, you know, a little bit... Like, I can see, oh, maybe it was inconsistent in saving, right? And it just never failed. We all make mistakes in the heat of passion, Jimbo. Holy shit. Early Minecraft development was just absurd. I know, like, they said in their most recent video, where there's been, like, the whole Jeb wouldn't add creepers controversy thing, which I get it, to be honest. Things are goofy. Things are goofy. But in that video, they mentioned, like, oh, we would spitball a feature one day and, like, add it by the end of the week, or something along those lines. And it kind of shows. It kind of shows. Which I don't hate, but then you get situations like this, right? Probably only tested converting the world and then didn't walk around for 5 minutes. Probably. And it makes sense, like, that's pre-alpha, right? You can't really be expecting the utmost quality, but it's really funny to see. You like old Minecraft's updates more than the new ones? I think it's, like, a really interesting thing, but it's weird to think about. In terms of Minecraft, with how, like, you can just boot up any update at any given point, right? There's some level of, like, separation to them, right? It's never a point of, like, oh, this is when this thing got added and you can never go back to, like, that point. No, it's like, you can boot up any old version asterisk at any point, right? Most of them. The ones we have archived, at least. And at one point, any of them, but I think most of them got purged from the launcher in like 2013, early on. The point I'm getting at, though, is like, those are the kind of updates you'd kind of expect in an early access game, right? Like fairly frequent little changes as just more things got added. Even before alpha and beta, just getting some basic features in pretty quickly and kind of randomly. But you can kind of play them like they're their own versions. And so it's got a bit of like, oh, this is just the old updating system, where instead it was really kind of just that phase of development, which we happened to get to play for some reason. I think it's kind of interesting. Because, like, this is what you'd expect more from modern updates, like what we currently have. The drop system is really just how any given live service game works at this point. Mind you, it's making the version numbering goofy as hell, but it's a weird thing with Minecraft in specific. That's what I'm getting at. Just given the nature of being able to go back at any point. Come here. Psst, psst, psst. No, the drop system's neat. Like, it feels closer to old updates. I prefer it. It is making the versioning weird as hell. Experimental toggles is what you don't like. I feel like they kind of have to be there. Because you saw the outcry for the villager rebalance. Like, there's certain changes that they can just kind of toss in there at any point. But then there are certain things that I feel they're scared to mess with and just have to put it behind that wall. Because if it's behind the experimental feature thing, then people can't really, like, complain as hard when we don't know it's ever going to actually become a thing. Like, they've not touched the rebalance in a while, I want to say. Or no, I think they could have put it in a snapshot and reverted it when the community reacted negatively. They could have. Oh my god. Once again, it's that same cliff. I think the other thing is, like, having it there is a thing of they can just kind of ignore it when the community doesn't like it, but not have to, like, undo the process of the thing they know they're going to touch at some point, right? Like, they're going to do a trade rebalance, and they've put some work into it, and that's already, like, in the game, right? They're going to eventually do a rebalance. I think it's just a matter of, okay, well, people don't like it, so we're not putting it into a full snapshot until we've worked on it more. I think it's a little bit less weird than, say, the combat experiments. Like, if they did that now, it would be in one of those. But instead, we have just, like, a weird branch of versions that we don't know what's happening with them. Like, I think this makes more sense than whatever they were cooking there, if I'm gonna be honest. The combat tests are dead? Yeah. Probably. It wouldn't surprise me if they're not fully dead. Jeb was in charge of them and now he's not. Like, I think wherever they were going when they were going on is just not going to be the path they take whenever they inevitably get added as an experimental toggle. That's how I see it. Like, I'm 90% sure we're going to get an experiment toggle for the combat stuff, and it's just going to change entirely, but they do want to do a combat change. Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks. So yeah, it would not surprise me at all if whatever the snapshots were are just done, right? And then eventually they do combat experiment, and that's where we get the silly things. Combat tests are weird and not intuitive? No, yeah. The fact that they were their own versions, it's an attempt to appease 1.8 players that aren't going to update anyways. No, yeah. There's also a level of, like, people can just play on both. I severely doubt most 1.8 players, like most people that prefer it, have, like, never touched or never play the current ones, right? I think most people who mostly stay on 1.8 have at least tried the current versions, and maybe they like certain things, but you're not going to drag someone off their primary play area. It's just not going to work. Okay, once again, out of slabs. I'm going to make the understack for him, just so I have it, and then go ahead and probably end the stream. Just because it's getting late. I have I have to head to work in an hour. So I'll be getting ready for that. But yeah, I feel like we're going to get a combat experiment at some point, and it will make more sense than having the snapshots. The only reason we got the snapshots, I'm fully convinced, is because they didn't have the experiment system. Otherwise, they would just end up in that same little limbo that, say, the minecart experiment's in. They haven't touched it since they set that up. They've messed with the villager one. Like, they added the new cartographer maps, and that's locked behind the villager rebalance. Okay. Inventory stuffed full of cobble. I'm gonna keep the dirt. Go ahead and grab one slab. I don't know. Minecraft has such a strange updating system. Like, not in a bad way, just in a, there's not really any other game that's like this, where this is even a debate. In most games, people would just kind of be stuck with 1.9, right? The fact that you have the option to not, with extreme ease, like just supported in launcher, it's not something that you can really do in any other game, which is kind of neat. Kind of neat. Maybe it's a problem that you need to have that option if you don't want to piss some people off, but I think it's cool. I think it's a good compromise, all things considered. And then they still have their version of the game where that's just not a problem in the form of Bedrock, where it's like, well, whatever we do here, you all gotta deal with it. That's just how it be on Bedrock. And so they can point to their player base being consistent there and still give Java players the freedom. Seems to be the repeating pattern. Okay. Let's go over to... Where do I want to do this? Like, pillar up, I think is the strat. We'll do a little stairway from the beach. I don't want to, like, run all the way to the tower to do the understack. I think that water ought to help somewhat protect the ground beneath. Okay. Good. Okay. Easy. Worked like a charm. we're not going to pick all that up. I don't want to break the understack. Okay. So we should be good. If I stream later tonight, then I'll probably be able to finish the farm up today. If I don't have time for it, then whenever the next stream is, I'll go ahead and do it. But yeah, thank you all so much for stopping by. Lovely having you in here, Wyvern. Keep up the great content. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. See y'all.